Okay, I think we are recording. Fingers crossed we are recording. Welcome back to Sparkle on Substack with me, Claire Venus. I have Joe here with me today, and we are going to be talking about all things art and Substack. Hi, Joe, welcome.
Hi, Claire. Thank you for having me. It's
Oh,
lovely to see you
you're
again.
so welcome. It's so nice. And I was saying to Joe, so Joe's avatar popped up when she booked this podcast, and I was like, yeah, I know Joe. And then there's been a whole summer in between. So I was saying to Joe, I was like trying to catch up with like how we've connected, what we connected on. And you were telling me that you used to subscribe to Sparkle on Substack and got a whole load of teachings and learnings and connected with the community. And then you've been offline solo, which I actually love. I'm saying if there was a graduation for the sparklers, I'd be there handing out all the sparkly scrolls and being like, yes, you've got it now, off you go. So thank you so much for reminding me about all of that.
Yeah, no, it's great. I mean, yeah, it's 2023 when I first found you. So yeah, it's and then I had a good year with you. Yeah,
Yeah.
going through everything, and I think I was saying to you, I was a bit of a lurker, so I would just sort of like just read everything and do as I was told, and
Take it all in.
crack
Yeah.
on in the background.
And you've got a beautiful Substack called, is it a traveling artist that it's called?
The traveling artist, yeah,
And tell me
yeah.
a bit more about what you do over on the traveling artist.
Well, yeah, the traveling artist came about, I think primarily because I was a bit annoyed with Instagram,
Mm.
and someone was talking about Substack, and I was like, well, and now was the time to join. I mean, I think it's always the time to join Substack at the moment, there's no,
Yeah.
but I thought, well, this might be a good time. I do like writing, I do like my newsletter. So I thought, well, it's a way to expand on it. So yeah, so I started back in 2023 with no idea
Hmm.
about what to talk about. So or what I was doing apart from, I hate the salesy sort of emails and getting into sort of any sort of what they called uh,
Oh, like this,
promotions,
yeah.
sequences, any
And
sort of
and the
sales sequence.
psychological pushing that makes us to jump into things is it's tricky, isn't it, to navigate?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And back in 2020, my husband and I bought a motorhome and took off, basically traveling Europe and the UK. And I
Mm-hmm.
thought, well, I'll write about that and share bits from my sketchbook. And that's how it started. And it became the traveling artist. But
Nice.
soon after that, I think it was actually from one of your workshops. And there was sort of, I think you're encouraging us to be sort of like clear and proud of what we were writing about, and that we were really felt that we were, I don't know, reading something that you wanted to read, that you would enjoy. So um I thought, well, what do I really know about? And I thought, well, I'm really nosy. I'm a really nosy person, so I always want to know how other artists work, what their studios look like. Let's get in
Mm.
behind the scenes. So I started interviewing other artists towards the end of 2024, and that's been going on for the last year. So it's been really, really successful, that. And I've had a good nosy around, other people's studios and whatnot, and they've been great, and they've supplied me lovely photographs and things. And then also, uh, you kind of forget how much experience you have yourself. So I have been working within the arts since about 20, well, since for a long time, probably about
Mm.
35 years now.
Wow.
So I used to work with Tate galleries, and I have a lot of experience, with the big arts organisations, as well as starting my own business, where I was completely ditched everything and started from scratch over about 16 years ago now. As an artist and illustrator, and earning money from my work. So I thought, well, I can talk about my experiences there, what's worked for me as a more commercial artist than a fine art artist.
Mm.
So that, and it all became part of the traveling artist. I
Mhm.
haven't broken it out to different substacks yet. It's a bit of a question mark, so I may have to come back to you for that. We'll see. But at the moment, that's the whole thing. It's art, it's other artists, it's how to make money from your art, and it's also about travel. And
Mm.
then my core niche of my own artwork is around dogs
Mhm.
and some cats, but mainly dogs. So
Mhm.
the dog art comes in as well.
I love it. And you know, Joe, in all of that, what I really resonated with is the freedom, right? So you've created this beautiful life around your own choices. So buying a motorhome and being free to travel and your sketchbook being able to be uploaded to the internet. I'm sure you've had some challenges around that, but essentially there's a freedom there, isn't there? There's something quite aspirational around, where shall we travel today? Where shall we draw inspiration from? And I think it's very seductive, the whole camper van thing. Like, we bought one, I hate it. We can get into that. But, it's like, it's just so interesting to me how we have this invitation to freedom in a different way because of the internet, because of being able to be more mobile. In the UK, our transport routes are okay. I can be in Edinburgh in an hour and a half. I can be in London in 3 hours, and it feels like that is a massive source of inspiration for us on a tiny island.
Yeah, yeah, it is. It started. I started watching the YouTube videos, and I think it was Wild We Roam. That was a young couple in their
Oh,
twenties,
it's just so
traveling.
romantic, isn't it? There's something so romantic about it all. Yeah.
Well, they were traveling around Europe in a beat up van
Okay.
and I caught myself. It was the thought of like, oh, I wish I'd done that at their age. And I thought, well, hang
Really?
on a minute, I'm not
Yeah.
past it just yet.
You
And
definitely not.
I picked myself up on that thought, and I had a chat with my husband Dean, and he's always been up for it. We've always said we would, at some point we'll hire a van and try it out. And but it was always a bit like, well, when are we going to do it? And we
Mm,
finally, it was actually before the pandemic we decided to do it. We're just like,
hmm
well, if not now, when? And then the pandemic just made the decision easier, so we, as
Yeah.
soon as we could, we headed off. But we didn't do the beat up old van. We got a really nice big posh motorhome.
Lovely,
So
but
it's
yeah,
a
like
very
a
nice
home on
living space.
wheels. Yeah, yeah.
It is. It is a proper home on wheels. It's very, very nice.
And I think that's
And
so when we first started looking, we'd looked at the VW vans, and there's a big
yeah.
like get together that happens near us, called Dubfest, I think it's called. And as we
Mm.
walked around that field, I think maybe my son was just a babe in arms or something at the time. Me and my husband were like, yeah, on a practical level, you can't really stand up. Like, everything's quite challenging around that particular type of van. And then obviously it happened years later. But I think there is something in the enchantment of it all to just be location independent, isn't there? That has this beautiful impact on our creativity if we can get ourselves organized and if we've got enough space and all that sort of thing. To go into the detail just for a second of that van and your artist studio within the van, like, what did that look like? What could you actually take with you? Was it like a box of materials? Did it pull out from a drawer? Like, how did it work? And do you have like
Mm.
photos and footage of that, or?
Yeah, I do. I do. I'm not sure if I've got any footage. I do.
Mm,
Yeah, I'd have to have. Yeah, well, no, I do have some photos. Definitely do have some photos, and
cool.
we've sort of done various done various variations of it. So when we first went, I had this massive, great big box of materials, all this
Hmm.
paper and everything, and there were two drawers in the motorhome full of my stuff. I mean, there was
Hmm.
stuff everywhere, and you just don't need it all. You really
Okay.
don't. So
Mm.
so I way overpacked. And as we've travelled more and more over the years, we take less and less with us each time.
Interesting.
Um, so that's been good. I also very much changed how I work. So I do work in watercolors, which is very easy for very portable, very easy. I'm not splashing acrylic or oil paint around the motorhome, which that would be great. And I do, when we're in the UK, I do have a separate studio. So I still have a studio space that I can go to, and it's acts as a bit of storage as well.
Ah,
But when we're
okay.
traveling, I've changed how I work. So I do a lot of work on my iPad.
Oh, okay.
So I really wanted to start doing more oil painting, but the practicalities were just, it was just not practical. So I created my own oil paint brushes on Procreate, and basically I do a style which is basically very I use what's the word, canvases. I
Mm.
photograph, do high quality on. That's basically what I'm trying to say. So it's like digital oil
Ah,
painting.
yeah. And I just pulled up your Substack profile there just to give people the visual who are watching the video. And if you are listening, you will be able to hop over to the YouTube link and watch the video of this chat if you'd like to. So we've got this beautiful photo of you, and then we've got it replicated in this. Well, I just really, I think it's brand new, isn't it? This place in our bio where we can add a little bit of personality. And you've got one of your digital kind of sketches there that is
Yeah.
part sketch, part logo. It's lovely.
Oh, thanks.
And then we'll go
Yeah,
into the
it's
traveling artist. And again, we can see some of the artwork that is your artwork and some of that kind of behind the scenes that you were pulling us into as well. It feels very clear that you are definitely an artist that moves around. I think all of that's pulled through really clearly. And then you mentioned the interviews that you did as well. And I scrolled down earlier and I can see that there are all of these really beautifully curated interviews from other artists. And, you know, I've worked with artists all my career. Everybody works in such unique ways. I think it's so interesting, isn't it, to kind of learn from others and understand what they're up to.
yes, absolutely. Yeah, and again, I think a lot of artists were very generous. When I was first starting out with myself, a lot of other artists were really generous with me with information and
Mm.
guidance and things like that, and all for free. Nobody charged me anything. So
Yeah, sharing
it,
tips and things.
exactly, yeah. So yeah, I do like to, and I think it's, for me, this is a great way to promote other artists to my audience. And I'm
Hmm.
working on the basis that if I like their work, then I think my audience might like their work as well.
Yeah, there'll be a curiosity
And
there. Mm.
and I very much approach it from, I do handpick the artist myself. People can submit to me, but I pick who I like
Mm.
and that that I'm really interested in. So very selfish of me, but sorry, that's
But I think
um,
that's how right as curators, isn't it? So it's got to be the right fit. We just did a collaboration workshop over at Sparkle and Substack last week, and I was just getting people to tease out their core values because I think from your core values, it's easier to kind of find the right fit and understand where people are coming from and know that yes, my readers will probably be interested in them as well. I think it's something when you've worked in the arts and you've curated a lot. Like I've worked with Tate as well, and those big, expansive venues, but the
mm,
curation's very tight. You know, they've got a very clear prerogative around who they want to program and why. I worked in festivals and events, so obviously in a festival it is diverse for sure, but it's diverse to a point, you know. So it's like there is some ticking boxes, but there is some representation, but there is some contrast in the way people express themselves creatively. And I think it's a real underutilized skill set to know that we have that. You know, we have that because we've had a career in the arts and we can bring that to an online space in quite a sophisticated way that people might not necessarily be aware of, but we can hold ourselves steady that that's our true north and that feels right to us.
yeah, definitely. It's yeah, it does. It feels like a real privilege sometimes to,
Mm,
like, and I get, so I'm so pleased when I'm now at the point where I've not quite run out of artists that I already know, but I'm
mm.
definitely talking to people now who I've got no connection with at all,
Okay.
and they're and going, oh yeah, we'd love to answer your questions. So
Yeah.
yeah, it feels, yeah, it's real, yeah, real buzz when that happens.
Yeah, definitely. And like you say, being able to share the behind the scenes photos because we are all a bit nosy, aren't we? We do
Oh
like to see
yes.
behind the scenes. And yes, there's the curated side that people might put out, but often studios are a whirlwind of different ideas and materials and things that have been retired and ideas that come back out of retirement. There's just so much going on, isn't there? So it is so interesting to see people's studios. I love that. And I
Yeah.
love that you can bring that to us on Substack. One of my main messages when I started Sparkle was this kind of stay creative on Substack provocation, really, because I didn't want people to feel like they had to box themselves in or hold themselves to account over their writing, and be really strict with themselves. I wanted to see that creative expression because I think that it just is a great platform to enable that for us, isn't it? It works, it doesn't really break, you know, we've got all of that joy. To be able to just publish and curate in a way that can feel quite organized, but also very creative if we let it.
It is. It is. It's like, it's on the one hand, I feel with Substack, I feel on the one hand, I don't really know what I'm doing on here still, even after like nearly 3 years. But then on the other hand, that's okay,
Mm,
because you have that freedom just to try things out
mm,
still. And whilst I have found my rhythm there now, and I do things regularly, and I am now very consistent on there, which has made a big difference.
okay.
The now that is all sort of coming to fruition. It's more about, it's like that cycle of like, okay, well, I've got to this point now. Can I be even more creative with this? And just that experimentation aspect of it is great.
Mm,
I mean, I think you're like me. You sort of treat Substack a lot more like a, because my background was more in software.
okay.
It's like a software as a service. It's a proper platform with with features that you can use,
Mm,
or not use.
mm.
And yeah, I found creatively it's been really interesting, and a good driver to my website as well. So
Yeah, and more and more, I'm really interested in these conversations about how we position what we're doing on Substack to invite people into our other world. So you and I were talking a little bit about this before we started. So when Sparkle was quite new, it was there really to serve all the people who didn't understand how to use Substack and like what all the behind the scenes stuff did. Then we morphed into joyful sustainable growth because we wanted the growth, we wanted new eyes on our work. That's why we were doing the work. And then now it's evolved again because I've evolved and we've evolved. We've been on Substack for a while, a lot of us, and we've been doing things, we've been experimenting. And for me, definitely in terms of the shape of my business, I wanted to sit in a more intimate space with people and primarily business owners. I was like, there's something really special about business owners that have learned how to use Substack and want to utilize it, but still want to hold their own website or their own courses or their own workshops outside of it. So instead of piling everything into Substack and putting things behind a paywall and chopping it all up, it was about this whole business ecosystem that yes could be driven by Substack but wasn't reliant on Substack, and that's what's been really exciting to kind of tease out and sit with in my mastermind groups and some of the other workshops I've done, because I think we've been in this real phase of organic growth on Substack, and it's been incredible. It's been incredible to meet colleagues. It's been incredible to jump on lives and meet lots of people. And what it's enabled us to do is test our work in real time and get responses to it, which has risen our confidence up. And then now, as business owners, we're like, okay, that is all there and that's all possible, but how does it all fit and what do we want to do? And you were saying that what's been really interesting for you is Substack has enabled these click-throughs to your website where primarily you're selling your art, aren't you?
yeah, yeah,
Mm,
it's just popped into my head like another great example of, and again, this isn't Substack magic or anything. This is just an idea I had, was to talk a bit more about my digital art process
yeah,
on Substack, which was the oil painting, digital oils of dogs.
yeah.
And that was a personal project of mine. This was something I wanted to do, and I wasn't too sure. Can I sell this? Could I sell this
Mm,
as a commission work or whatever? Is it cheating? A lot of people think, art wise, oh, if you're doing it digitally, it's cheating, it's not real. Whereas in the illustrator world, digital painting is normal. It's just,
mm.
it's absolutely valid. And
It's from your hand, yeah.
exactly, I mean, it's still all hand painted and everything. So,
Mm,
but it was the interesting conversations to have. So I was series of paintings, which I then shared, all over the place, on Substack and beyond. I got, Substack themselves picked up one of my paintings and shared it on the Substack post.
ah,
Um,
fun.
and then I shared it elsewhere. I shared it, I think it was on LinkedIn, and a licensing partner got in touch with me, that I'd met once 12 years ago. And
Wow.
they said, oh, we love your work, always have, these look great, can we have a talk? And I ended up licensing a range for greeting cards, and they've just launched a calendar in the States exclusive to Barnes and Noble.
Oh,
So
very lovely.
that
Oh,
whole
great.
thing
Yeah.
it took over a year, but it started with Substack, and it started because of a personal project that I felt I could do and talk about on Substack, on the
Mm,
platform. and
yeah.
and it's just it's a like I said, it just popped into my head, but it's a lovely example
It
of
really
the
is of that
weird and wonderful
springboard.
things that can happen. Yeah.
Yeah, and this is my piece about the raising of our confidence, because of the conversations and the connections, because it's felt relatively easy to connect. It's felt relatively easy to have conversations, to have people, because we have the long form art form on Substack, because the comments are more generous, because the conversation in the comments is more generous, because it feels more natural to reach out to people than it might have done if we were in another space, like a social media space where we've got to kind of like grab attention. Like it's really, I find that very, very challenging. And I always like give myself a hard time about it because I don't actually know how to do it. Like I don't know how to grab attention. I guess,
Yeah.
there's no journalistic background. Everything I've ever done has had creative nuance in it. And it's been really difficult to get to the like crux of how I articulate it because I want to tell people a story and stories take longer. So I think it's really interesting to just go into that and go, okay, like, the mindset I always try and come with is people have got time. And if they haven't, that's fine. They might move on or, they'll come back to it at another time. But on Substack, people have got time. And I would love for you to articulate how you feel that's worked in response to your own growth. Obviously, you've grown a healthy little community, like a set of people that do respond to your work and do read your work. What do you feel have been the main drivers in that, Joe? Has it been stuff that you've done? Is it posting across socials? Is it just people are attracted to your work and it's kind of resonated? What's gone on for you, do you think?
Yeah, I think I do have two. First of all, I think I've got two distinct different audiences. I
Mm,
do have people who are along for the journey, they're along for the travel. They want to see where we're going, what's in the sketchbook. It's all quite interesting. I've
yeah.
got, I think, a slightly dark sense of humor. I think that, very gentle dark, but I think that comes across as a bit of personality in there. So that's one set. And then when I did start, I started talking about a few things that I do know a lot about, which is, making money from my artwork, be it via greeting cards or licensing or freelance illustration or commissions, painting pet portraits. There's a lot. I work on a portfolio career basis. So
Mm, hmm
um, I have a lot of experience, and I started talking about that. What was wonderful is exactly as you say, the time.
mm,
This is over the course of my first year there. I'm trying things out. I'm talking about things that I think might be useful to other people. Then I'm starting to get questions coming in, like, what
mm.
about this and how do you approach that? So I
Okay.
start answering those questions. Then I thought, well, hang on a minute. Going back to those artists that helped me out when I very first, came on the scene.
Mm,
I had some very generous artists that came and said, "Oh no, this is how you price for, a trade show. This is what you would do for a retail show." And I was like, "Oh, okay, right, this is great." So how could I then kind of pass that forward to other people?
mm,
Again, without being completely walked over and inundated with stuff. So that's
mm,
how I call it the open studio. That's how that came about, and that's basically my paid offering on Substack. Is
mm,
It's a very small, intimate group of artists, and we meet once a month. At the moment, twice a month, and we have an accountability session, and we just basically talk shop for an hour.
mm,
And if anyone's got a problem or anyone's got a question, then if I don't have the answer, then maybe someone else on the call does.
mm,
So, um, so that is about kind of giving back to my artist community,
mhm,
in a way that didn't feel too money making or money grabbing. There's a lot of courses out there that some are absolutely fantastic, and I recommend a
mm,
good couple of them.
mm,
But there's a lot of people out there who are experts in everything, and say do this course for several £100s,
mm,
and and I feel that there's a lot of mis-selling going on. There's a lot of especially with making money from art.
Mm.
It's like everybody would like to make money from their art,
Yeah.
but at the same time, there's certain things you need to be realistic about. And these courses that lead people do exactly as I say, and you will make money. And it's
Mm.
just not true.
Mm.
I feel the more people that the crowded online space and the more people that are there, it's more and more difficult to get sort of sucked into some sort of like nice glitzy well put together sort of,
Mm.
course that you can do and everything will be great afterwards. So I
Mm.
just feel that it's good to put a bit of realism
Mhm.
into, basically, how to make money from you from your artwork and how
Yeah.
hard it can be.
Yeah, yeah, and there's so much opportunity around the portfolio career, like you mentioned, but also, and you might feel this too, sometimes I feel like I have spun too many plates. And so I'm like, oh, you know? So,
Yes, yeah,
so then just trying to go, okay, me and my husband have like this motto at the moment around if it moves us towards stillness, we're doing it. If it doesn't, we're avoiding it. And it's really simple. It's because he's got chronic health concerns, and it's because sometimes life, even without you meaning to, gets really messy and uncomfortable. So we're like, how do we move towards stillness today? How do we move towards stillness
mm,
over lunch? How do we move towards stillness when I turn my business on and I do all the things within my business, especially because I'm quite a high energy person. And I think that one of the misconceptions of what we think that we want is to make more money so that then we move towards stillness. But as we build these online empires, we realize that more money usually comes with more people and more customers and more things to manage, VAs to manage, ads to manage. If you do ad, like there's a whole big machine behind how it actually how the economics of it work, and then you're managing all of that as well as showing up to do the work that you really want to do. And in fact, the work that you really want to do, it gets squeezed and squeezed and squeezed because you've got this big empire to manage. So it's really
yeah,
interesting, especially because of the growth that I've seen on Substack and how I have responded to that and like worked within my business and all of that stuff about this generosity piece. So the book that I'm writing this year is called Invisible Trust, and it's about the hidden rules of reciprocity online, which I think aligns with what you're talking about because I still want to do that. I still want to be generous. I still want to say, I've learned all of this and I want to share that with you for free, yet also have a business that takes care of my family and makes sure that my husband doesn't have to work where he gets to the point where he's exhausted because it's just awful for us all. So it's like a balance piece all of the time. And when you go into these online spaces and you read these glossy sales pages that promise all of this stuff and they've got all the psychology built in, and all of that stuff, what happens is people are having these empty experiences at the other end because it didn't work and they think that's on them. And actually, it was never going to work because it's multifaceted and complex, isn't it? You need the portfolio career, you need to turn the taps on and off, you need to find peace within it all. There's so much to it. It's not as simple as do X, Y, and Z and then you'll have a successful art career. Not really,
yeah. No, it's not, and it can look very different to how you think it's going to look as
for
well.
sure.
I talk a lot about when I very first started publishing my own greeting cards. I had this idyllic idea that I would be sat, oh, I'm just going to do some greeting card design this afternoon, and then oh, I'll go to a trade fair and I'll sell it, and it'll be a marvelous
Hmm.
success. And then what I actually found out a bit further down the line, a bit too much further down the line, really, was to be a successful card publisher on your, just doing that with nothing else, you're talking about pallets of cards arriving. You're talking about, tens of thousands of cards that you have to
Really?
pack
Okay.
or pay for someone to pack for you.
Mm,
You're talking about needing hundreds of stockists
mm,
and really your life, possibly a warehouse or having staff to manage to deliver all of these orders. Never mind getting the designs correct so that, that there's enough appeal for the orders to come in. And
mm.
I just had this, oh my God, that is not what I want. I
You
do not
didn't
want to
want
work
that
like
side
that.
of it.
I don't want that side at all. So that was a big moment for me quite a long time ago now, but hitting that point and going, that's not what I thought it was going to look like.
Mm.
yes, and those experiences are really useful, I think, because it really shows you what you don't want.
Mm,
So now going forward, and especially I would say with Substack, what do I want from Substack? And again, it's not from Substack, is it? It's from me using the platform.
mm,
But it's yeah, I want the sort of freedom to express myself,
mhm,
share a bit of the journey. I want to be able to help others, move forward with their businesses, and within that, that is just really by taking action, by doing
mhm,
things and trying them,
mm,
and having support while you're doing it, and then yeah, sharing my artwork and hopefully getting sales, because I am, I am a full-time working artist.
mhm,
So I can't be taking too much time off to go down like a teaching route, say, because then I won't be working, I won't have the time to work anymore.
mm,
So I need to rein in those plates as well and say, what if I go too far down this road, then I'm going to just be potentially teaching all of the time. And
mm,
that's perhaps again not where I want to spend my time. So
mm,
it has Substack has provided all these different options that perhaps weren't there before 2 or 3
mhm,
years ago. So
mm.
it's been, yeah,
And people can get deeper into how you work, but also join, like you say, a community to talk shop or be really inspired and want to commission a dog portrait. Like it can all happen from the same place. You can kind of guide people through and people can build up that picture over time. And then you've got this beautiful magazine style. I like to call it a magazine style when we're
yeah,
curating, because you can take people into the archive. You could share something from a year ago or 2 years ago that was an interview or a piece of your own practice, because that stuff is still relevant. And that's really beautiful, isn't it? To kind of bring that stuff back in front of an audience.
yeah. No, it is. And the other thing I've noticed, which has been, again, great for business, is there's been a direct correlation with my growth on Substack and my views on my website. So
Nice.
they have
Yeah.
that,
We get into the geekiness
they,
about the stats. We have to, don't we? We have
yeah,
to see how
yeah.
it's all impacted and how it's all working. Yeah, fascinating. And would that be directly from notes, or would it be notes, subscribe, hang out a bit, and then click through? Or do you not know that level of detail?
I haven't quite got that level. I mean, I'm
Mm.
liking there's some new stuff that I just brought in
Yeah, they've
on
brought us
the
some new statistics, haven't they, to have a look on
yeah
the dashboard. I think with notes as well, because you can press the three dots and have a look at what's going on with an individual note. And some of the artists that I support as one-to-one clients or people that are trying to get bestseller status, we do a lot of digging into like what actually happens with that particular note, especially if it's art, because some of the art on Substack does go viral. It's beautiful to see. You're talking like tens of thousands of likes for
yeah
something that somebody's drawn in their home studio, and I just adore seeing that. So going into the nuance of, okay, what was the impact on the sign-ups, because then you've got their emails, versus what was the impact on an external link, or trying to work that through, I think can be really interesting. And I think, people are never bored of seeing art. Like that's a lovely thing, isn't it? We've got
no
that little space carved out for ourselves, and it feels like, I don't know whether you feel this, but it feels like everybody's welcome to share their unique art, and that's a beautiful thing, isn't it? And we see more of the diversity. Um, Somehow I feel I see more of the diversity of artist work on Substack than I do any other social media platform. And maybe that's because I follow too many things or what happens, but I do feel, because that's my area of interest and I find it's very calming to my nervous system, I just see a lot of art and I'm so happy about it.
yeah. I think certainly in terms of the algorithm does show you what you want to see, and
Hmm.
what you react to. I'd probably say notes is primarily been the driver for me. Again, I've
Got
had,
you.
luckily enough, had a
Mm.
couple of pieces go a little bit viral. Um, and in the early days, it was definitely people. I saw that people jumped through hoops
Mm.
because it was before my homepage, before I really linked directly to my website and my commission page
Mm.
and things like that.
Hmm.
But people had basically found me from Substack and had a massive boost um, on my website at the same time that one
Hmm.
of the notes went viral, and I got commissions
Oh,
purely
that's
from
so
that.
great. Yeah, yeah.
So there was absolutely a direct correlation between the two,
Hmm.
and it was really, really, it was really eye opening. It was really like, oh my goodness,
This is
there's
how
this
it
other
can
thing,
work. Yeah,
that
yeah.
is because again, I would. post my work on Instagram and it would be tumbleweed.
Hmm.
And I don't like being told what to do to get attention on, oh, you have, this is how you have to use our software to promote your
Yeah.
work. And I'm like,
Yeah.
you've lost me, I'm afraid,
I
already.
know it's
So again,
hard,
that's
isn't it?
what I really like about Substack, is that I've just been able to, you know, I thought, well, I'm going to share my work here and see what
Hmm.
happens, and
Hmm.
it's been marvelously beneficial for me. So yeah,
Mm.
it's
And there's that beautiful duality, isn't there, of process, sharing. And I talk about this a lot, like the wholehearted life element, like sharing your camper van adventures is like, it is interesting and it is also like I'm bringing you along with me. Like it just feels very
yeah,
generous. And I think we see this more and more. People want more of the generosity. It's important because when things are curated, it's almost like we can't scratch the surface because that's so heavily curated. We don't know what's real anymore. And I think we've become very sophisticated when it comes to the internet of kind of going, oh, I've been seduced there. Like I'm seduced and I can unravel out of it and be like, no, no, like that's beautiful and you've done a great job and you've pulled on all the psychological triggers and you've had great photo shoots and it's all beautiful, but it's not real. Like, I may as well just
yeah,
watch a movie because it's not real. And then actually an embodied practice, which we should all have as creatives, we should all have as writers, because it's not only is it unique to us, but it also is so, so special for us to pull on that creative practice and adapt and grow, whatever that looks like for us, doesn't it? And so it should be authentic and real. Like it doesn't have to be curated. There's a way with it all, isn't there?
yeah. I think that's so interesting that it's like a language almost,
A
isn't it?
language. Mhm.
And we get to learn the language, and then we can maybe that's the wrong analogy, but yeah, it's like we can spot it, go, oh, that's, it's like that's a really bad accent kind of thing. It's like, no, I don't like that.
You can be
It's
discerning in it. Yeah.
Yeah, and then you can really find that you can spot the authentic, and you can get,
Hmm.
oh yeah, no, but I really like
And
this. So
connected to that.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Yeah. There's a big frustration at the moment within the business owner community on Substack around Substack notes going viral that have been written by AI. And I actually have to find it
Um,
quite funny because obviously I could go onto ChatGPT and tell it, okay, churn out 20 notes that could potentially go viral on Substack notes or whatever else I would do, strong hooks, all things. However, it's human behavior, isn't it? And it's because people get tired and lazy, and it's like it's easy to like that, but the revolt is massive. People go in. There's the people that like it, and then the people that are going, I'm sick of seeing all the AI slop. Like, can we just not? Can we go back to what we had before? So it's like this sort of, I don't know whether it's a revolution or what's going on, but it's like a revolution within a revolution where people are looking for the authenticity again, like the real human, like not the one with the perfect filters or the one that sort of curated something from AI that is like designed to make people stop. And I'm here for it. I think it's a really good,
yeah,
healthy set of conversations to have. Um, and it feels very real rather than sort of exhausting. You can just be like, I'll just cut that out of my online space and get closer with the art and get closer with the people that are like speaking from a place of authenticity and reality rather than just something curated by some tool that's going to make us like press the like button or something. It's odd, but I don't think it's interesting right now.
yeah. No, I'm absolutely seeing the same. I think
Mm,
the whole, yeah, that the whole AI thing is really, especially when it comes down to writing. I mean, gosh, it's so interesting because I think even now I can see it. It it's like it's a little bit clickbaity,
mm,
and as soon as I start reading it, I'm just like, yeah, even with headlines, I think people's headlines, if it's a tad bit clickbaity, I'm like, no.
no, yeah, turn away
I'm,
from
yeah,
that.
finding it really, and again, it's that, yeah, you were saying the nuances are just so subtle now
Mm,
that, I can be reading something and going, No, no,
No.
that's not.
I
I'm
know.
not engaging with this at
We've got it,
all.
haven't we? We've got it. Yeah, it's so
Yeah,
interesting. Well, it's beautiful that Substack is working for you, and thank you so much for
yeah.
sharing some of the ways that you've shared your wholehearted self
Mm,
online and how it's all working. Obviously, I'll put all the links to your Substack below. I'll put your website as well if people want to head over and have a look at your commissions and some of the past work that you've done
thank
when you've
you.
been commissioned to draw dogs. But yeah, I just think it's been great, Joe, just to sort of understand more of the evolution of how we show up online and the layers that we put into it. I think, we can't know what we will be publishing in a year, 2 year, 3, 5 years time. We don't know that, do we? But we're committed to the evolution of process, which could mean some downtime. It could mean a new series. It could be bringing something back from the archives and remounting it. And that feels beautiful to me that we've got some of that sophistication of knowledge now.
Yeah, yeah. No, no, it's been great. It's been absolutely fabulous to talk to you again. It's like, yeah, a bit of a full circle moment. And now I'm
Yeah.
already thinking, yeah, I think maybe I need to maybe come back and have another chat with you about, maybe I need to branch out into more than one Substack, but we'll see. Yeah,
Oh, well, I love that, Joe. And I do get asked that question a lot. And I will just say for the recording and for people listening, where things are now, I say don't do it. Like, unless you're going to
yeah,
do a pop-up Substack, don't branch out because of the authenticity piece. People want the whole of us, and we can take them out in different directions. We can take them into series. We have got some
mm,
tools on Substack like tags and sections to be able to work it all within the one publication. But essentially, like our publication is this beautiful archive magazine of everything that we have been and will be. So right now, I think it's great that you've got it all in the one space. And it actually gives you more freedom than you'd think because sometimes when that genius of a strand or an idea is coming through, it's not meant for Substack at all. It's meant to be a standalone class or, a WhatsApp group or, and because we've got so many
yeah,
ways with online, it's like, what is that actually what? And you'll get this. What is the platform? What is the curation? What is the container for this idea? Because sometimes the containers are short and other times they're long-term commitment. And so that's what I'm leaning into and getting curious about. But of course, people can do what they want to do, like it's our playground, isn't it? And we're very privileged to be able to understand how it all works. But yeah, maybe that gives you some food for thought as you move
yeah.
forward.
Yeah, no, it does. Thank you.
You're so welcome. And thanks for being here, Joe. It's been lovely to
Yeah,
connect. See you soon.
no, fabulous. Thank you.